Hello, my name is JamilaJohnson. I'll be talking to you guys today about the Black Panthers, aka the Black Panther Party. I'll be informing you all on the history of the Black Panthers and how they got started, some of their social programs, their political activities, their involvement with the FBI, how they ended, and the new Black Panthers. Their history: the Black Panthers were created in 1966 by Huey Newton and Bobby Seale while they were still students attending the Merritt College in Oakland, California. While Huey and Newt and Bobby were still students, they also created a Negro history fact group that forced the college to offer classes on Black history. The Black Panthers were created to challenge the police brutality against African Americans in Oakland, California, following the assassination of Malcolm X and the killing of an unarmed teen, Matthew Johnson, who was shot and killed in San Francisco, California. The Black Panthers also wore black berets and black leather jackets. Some of their early activities involved monitoring the police in African American communities. Some of their foundations that the Black Panthers created was a free breakfast club for school-age children that started in an Oakland church. The space also served as a time for them to educate the children on their history and the current conditions in their community. The foundation for the Breakfast Club was claimed to have fed 20,000 children in the year 1969, from 1968 to 1969. They also had a free clothing distribution program, classes on politics and economics, free medical clinics, lessons on self-defense and first aid, transportation to upstate prisons so that family members could visit their family that they weren't able to see on a regular, drug rehabilitation centers, emergency response, ambulance response programs, and testing for sickle cell. Now, with all these programs that they offered, the Black Panthers were still viewed as gang members. One of the goals of the leadership was to gain power so that the African Americans could join the political party. Now, their goal was not successful, but with all the programs that they offered, and it was growing more and more, that piqued interest from outside cities. Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, and New York were among those cities, and by 1968, the members had reached 2,000. Some of their political activities and their issues that they had was that Newton and Seale adopted a 10-point program. The 10-point program outlined their political objectives and philosophical views. The 10-point program was also to aid them in gaining more employment for African Americans, more land and houses for justice for all of the African Americans in the communities. Now, the Black Panthers also emphasized Black pride, community control, and unification for civil rights. In 1967, the Black Panthers had many violent encounters with the law. Eldridge Ridge Cleaver, the editor of Black Panthers newspaper, and 17-year-old Black Panthers member and treasurer Bobby Houghton were involved in a shootout. 2 officers were wounded, and Bobby Houghton was killed. The founder, Huey Newton, was convicted of allegedly killing Officer John Frey. He was sentenced, but later on his sentence was lessened and it was reversed, and he was convicted of manslaughter in 1968. In 1969, Alex Blakely, who was tortured and killed by Black Panther members, was accused of being a police informant. Also, in 1974, Betty Van Patter, who was found beaten and murdered, was also the Black Panthers' bookkeeper. No one was charged, but the leadership of the Black Panthers were definitely suspected. Some of their involvement with the FBI was that the FBI was working very hard to take them down. In 1969, they were declared a communist organization, an enemy of the U.S. government. The first FBI director, J. Edgar Hoover, said that the Black Panthers were one of the greatest threats to the national security. That's crazy, with all the good that they were doing, and they were just trying to gain a little bit of power for the African Americans and just to keep their communities safe. Now, in 1969, the Chicago PD killed Fred Hampton and Mark Clark while they were sleeping in their bed. The police were saying that it was a very fierce gun shootout battle, but later on it was said that of all the 500 bullets that were shot, only one of them came from the Black Panther side. The federal grand jury declared that the shootout was not police fault, but the events leading up to the shootout was the police fault. The Black Panthers' numbers began to decline due to the internal tension, deadly shootouts, and the FBI aiming to take the organization down. The Black Panthers ended in 1982. But there was a new Black Panthers organization that started in Dallas, Texas, and they are a Black nationalist organization. The U.S. Commission, Civil Rights and Southern Poverty Law Center deemed the group a hate group. Now, the original Black Panther group that started in 1966 and ended in 1982 did not see themselves in any kind of way involved or in correlations with the new Black Panther Party that was started in Dallas, Texas. Thank you so much for listening to my speech on the Black Panthers. I hope you guys learned something. I definitely enjoyed my research and gaining more knowledge on the Black Panthers. I hope you all were able to gain more knowledge on how they got started, their social foundations, their political activities, their involvement with the FBI, how they ended, and the new Black Panthers group that was created. I truly enjoyed learning about the organization who stood up for themselves and their community, and I can't wait to learn more. Thank you again. Bye-bye.